Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, Lpr. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, schools, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers. 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-337, or 916-533-2048. Our customer service representatives are waiting to take your calls and give you the needed assistance. It is Lpr, the home of excellent media services, and your friend in business. Hello listeners, this is Mazola, the lover boy. I'd like to invite you to this exciting program. It is called Dancing for Jesus. It is intended to play beautiful, inspirational music to help you turn your life to God. Join me on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is our way of showing appreciation to God for the good things He has done for us and continue to do. Don't miss this opportunity. Join Mazola on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the program Dancing for Jesus. Please be there because I will be here to wrap it up for you.
Good evening. Welcome to this evening broadcast. As usual, today is Friday, and this is Lpr-Tv Live of the Analysts. The Analysts will be joining me here very shortly. I am your lead host, Alfonso Zenso, right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe, wherever you are. If this is the first time, I will say you are wholeheartedly welcome on the Diaspora Informative News outlet Liberia Public Radio. We discuss issue, not personality, but when there is some sort of correlation, of course, we'll put it out. We don't necessarily say your way as you intend or you wish to hear. I will tell you exactly what you need to know. That's the distinctions of LPR. Even though there is a liberal wing of this network who tries to liberalize this network and change the nomenclature of the purpose for which this network was formed. However, the independent voices will stand up. And this is what I've come to realize from time to time with what is happening in the country, the misconcept. When media becomes a resistant force, what happens? Should we be a resistant force, or the media should be able to create a conversation, fair, balanced, proportional, or in all sides will be heard? That seems not to be the case. And so we are seeing the fact that media has become a resistant force in our political landscape, whether in Liberia, in the diaspora. Empire media institutions tend to direct or sway the directions of the voters. As a result, ordinary Liberians are unable to be able to make the good choices. No options is being provided. They have used their dominant voices, the microphones, their talents, their skills, and their level of persuasion, thus disprivileging our Liberian people to be able to decide for themselves. When media becomes a resistant force, what happens? And so now we see the voices of yesterday that tend to be the voices of the liberators or the freedom fighters or those who felt they had opportunity. And many few Liberians have no option but to listen to them without then to digest, review, and critically. They were not privileged to get the information. They used their microphone. They used their skills. Other voices were sanctioned. Others were not given the opportunity. If you were on the other side of the aisle and you were to place a call, your phone call is rejected. You were labeled. That sort of stigma is placed on you. So as a result, the entire society, even to the media, is being polarized. And each and every politician have their own place to go to preach their message. And it is dangerous for any country that wishes to be a democratic country. It discourages the citizens for being able to make good choices. And so we see many of these talking heads, talk show hosts, angle, commentators, political pundits, they shift your direction simply because there's no opportunity to express yourself, to even ask the questions, necessary questions, just to allow you to be able to make informed decisions at the ballot box. They do all of the talking for you. They set the dining table. And they shield their political godfathers, call them political leaders. We don't know how that name was coined. And so they become the protectors of these people. They were taking the bullets. And it makes us to understand that all is okay. They put their lives, their characters on the line for these political godfathers, these vampires. You never had the opportunity to dissect their agenda, their clear agenda for the country, and how they intend to prosecute that agenda. Who, how, and who will be held accountable when the law is broken. You never had that opportunity. And some of you, in your own share, in your own word, because you are so politically driven, you are being brainwashed, you will allow that to take control of yourself, and you are unable to speak for yourself, but allow these people to be your interpreter when you can speak the English language as well. It doesn't matter how you speak it, just connect those words and make your message to be heard. You didn't do it. So you eventually becomes a facilitator of those sort of bad behaviors. You also have to protect these alligators, political alligators. And yet we are. Because of 1, 2, 3 persons' decision that influence your mind, get us to be where we are. And everybody's scratching their head, what the heck is going on? I didn't expect it. How? Because you as a media empire or guru, you didn't create a narrative. You didn't create the level playing field to allow all to speak their minds as to how they're going to grow the economy, how job will be created, what sort of transparency they are bringing, whether they will believe in the rule of law, or whether there will be others who will violate the rule of law and they will let go as it has been done over and over and over. So we all becomes a facilitator. Names were called in the interim, even if you try to signal and ask the question, will labor people, this is a seditions, this is a CUPIS, this is a ANC, this is the WNC. We took our eyes off the ball because these political talking heads, the politicians are very clever and strategic group of people. They plan these people on these very networks and they sanction voices. And yes, the facilitators, the viewers, the listeners, they were not that smart enough. These guys put voice together, connect them well, and unleash, and will buy into it. And then later on, we began to say, knowing what I know, I don't expect this. I am surprised. And they began to find excuses. They began to find words to circuit, to empathize with them. No remorse. Yet, they are defiant and they will tell you, say, hold on, they will be okay. It's still soon. They were never, as ordinary Liberian politicians, to admit their wrongs and be bold to say, yes, I kicked the can down the road. It is because my decision get us to be where we are today. And then I go back to say, it happened 2, 3 years ago. What did you do? You didn't talk, it's all you want to talk now. So it becomes like a visual cycle. You eat, I come, I eat. So Mr. X was in prosecuted yesterday. He did wrong. He was in prosecuted yesterday. Mr. Y comes and take his own. And so the law becomes handicapped, develop an artificial leprosy hands. The hammer will never come down because they are all political friends. And then we wonder what is happening in Liberia. So it doesn't matter if you take Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, the Bushes, and our guy now, the cuckoo hair guy who just came, I don't want to call his name, but we all know, and even take these people to Liberia to have joint presidents like we have had. We have five-man council of states. It will never happen because we are protective of our own. The civil society is completely dead. It's polarized, it's contaminated. They are in the hands of the politicians. Advocacy group. But trust me, when you go on Google and you look at the name, you this other him all right, this other right, this other this other that. But it becomes selective ain't their talking point. If it is happening, it happens to the guy who way down in the village. No one going to demonstrate because he or she is not part of their group or association. The DNA of that individual is not part of the social political club called themselves political institution. When media becomes a resistant force, what happens? When you, as a lead anchor, people take off their time to listen to you. and you become so enticed with your political godfather. You don't listen to Mr. A from the other side, for which you create an artificial phone line. Your phone line determines who call, and when that person calls, your battery is going dead. And then you come back to us. You do not expect this. I want to display that here tonight, holding all accountable in their own words. Your wife must have been scratching their head. Mr. President, do this. Hell breaking loose as if Donald Trump had just appointed Mike Gates and everybody going nuts. You know this guy who he is, so why should you be as surprised? This is a Friday night edition. The analysts, they are beginning to assemble backstage and will bring them. And for us who believes in freedom of expressions, no matter how your voice, your tone differ with us, we give you the opportunity to have this critical conversation because we believe no one should be left behind in the process. It is not about our personal homes, ourselves, but it's about the country. And when you are talking about the country, people must be involved, listen to all sides, and be able to make an informed decision. Time check here. This evening is 8:21 Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to the show. Let's get a ball rolling right here. Right now, as our guys are all here, I am Afonso Zian, so your lead host here this evening. Welcome. Okay, good evening, good evening. So the liberal progressive of the Liberia Public Radio, who is a strong supporter, President Joseph Newman Boakai is here from Saxton, Sacramento, California, one of the most liberal states. Let me go down and bring it on, and we're going to have a free and fair conversation here this evening. The liberal progressive. Good evening. Welcome to the show. This is Friday editions of Lpr-Tv Live with the Analysts, and good to have you here.
Good evening, Mr. Soul. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Okay, so how is a Friday so far?
Beautiful day. Beautiful day. No complaint. We thank God. We say we are here. Thank God. We continue to pray for long life, for prosperity, and for more blessing. We're happy to be here on this wonderful Friday.
Wonderful Friday. And I want to tell you, there is nothing guaranteed. It was beautiful to this hour. Whether that beauty will continue to the climax of this program this evening is not guaranteed, because we have a responsibility to hold all accountable of their own words as to how we got here. And why, and when media becomes a resistant force, what happens? We'll try to peel those pieces and those puzzles this evening and see whether there going to be a remorse to say yes. That of sure is not going to happen, because people are always defiant and vehement in their actions. So let's hear what's going on inside Liberia.
Well, thank you, Mr. So. Liberia is beautiful. Under the leadership of President Joseph Boakai, Liberia will always be one of the best places to be. The leader, the Republic of Liberia, is fine. It's doing well. Inside Liberia, there are some rumbling with the speakership on the line. There are some rumbling with a certain group within the executive that are not doing what they're supposed to do. And but we're taking note of those things. Other than that, the president is doing wonderful, and the republic is doing wonderful.
So if, for example, those people are not doing what they're supposed to do and they are appointed by the leader, then where do we shift the wagon?
Well, Mr. So, quite frankly, you don't shift blame immediately. These things takes time to clearly avail themselves to the watching eyes of the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. And so these things would take time to actually submerge themselves in the thinking of the people of Liberia. And if anyone is found liable or somehow responsible for the debacle that we're seeing, and the president most likely will take action.
The president. Should the talking heads, we as a facilitator, should we be also be held responsible because we become more or less, we did not give the audience a chance. We were kind of like we direct their emotions, we limited their decision making because we're very persuasive in our action. Am I sounding right here this evening, liberal?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. But we're not going to go.
I know one of those that we should also hold accountable, be held accountable to things that happens in the past, whether it was done the right way or not.
Yes, of course. Every one of us that put our neck and prestige on the line for this government to come to power, of course. We should all be held responsible for if anything goes wrong, where Liberia is unable to function, where Liberians are unable to move around, where the chaotic situation in Liberia is no longer bearable by the Liberian people. Yes, you can hold us responsible. But what I do try to resist, and I will push back, I am not here to apologize for my action during the election. I've supported this president. I believe in this president. I still do believe in this president that yes, indeed, he will deliver, Mr. So you can hold us responsible as well.
So you are human beings. If you say you would not apologize, are you saying you wouldn't admit to things happening in government because of your support to the government? So you'll be vehement and just push and shove people here down, shove words down their throat, something like that?
Mr. So what we do have the ability to do is to sit here because this is not about shame or shaming somebody or what have you. If we feel that we need to come out here and eat crow public, we would do so because we stated to the Liberian people, we told the Liberian people, believe me, I'm a liberal, believe me, Raku, believe me that I am who I am, and believe me, this president can deliver. If the president failed to do that, you can hold us responsible. However, Mr. So, yes, at this point, I see no reason to apologize. I see no reason to eat crow. One of the difference between us, those of us that support this government and supported this government during the campaign and still support this president in all of his policy, the difference here is this, Mr. So. When we see that something is not right, we believe that something is not right, we will speak up. We got nothing to hold us back. We are not a praise singer. That is the difference, Mr. So.
Are you ready to eat crow?
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. I'm carrying my Lpr around, so in case the time comes, I just have to shoot the rubber gun and the crow gonna come and I'll eat it. But for now, no.
Let's watch this and see. Courtesy of Liberia Public Radio, holding all accountable in their own words.
Things are getting out of hand in Liberia. I'm not too sure why, but from everything that we've been reading, it doesn't look good. It seems like people are just taking a matter into their own hands. I'm not too sure. And someone like me, one who supported this government during the campaign heavily here on this Lpr platform, we were accused of coming from the southeast and then going all the way to support somebody from the west, from Lofa County. Yo, crime man, why you supporting Lofa County? Because I believe in the Lofa County. I believe he has the ability to lead us. People still calling me and saying and make comments like, what he said now. There was no comparison. the young man who was from the southeast were failing or has failed completely. So when the campaign time came, I lifted his policy, and I lifted the promise policy from the man from Lofa County, and I fell with him myself. That the man from Lofa County policy was something that I need to talk about, and something that I need to support. And I did that. So those of you that are calling me, continue to call me. Why you say now? I have no regret. You can call me for another judgment day. I have no regret. Now, having said that, you can say whatever you want to say. It don't matter. You can say that. I don't care. But here's the thing here. I'm a little bit. Not disappointed, not confused or anything, because some of these things were expected. Most of these people that goes into the government position, they're broke. They were broke. They have nothing. And I said it last night.
This is Lpr. Things are getting out of hand. What specifically, Libra, you were referring to?
Well, Mr. So before I address that, let me just thank you for re-echoing my thought and my reasoning, and that why I believe I'm not going to apologize still. However, Mr. So, again, if I have to do it all over, I would choose the same path. The issue here is this: we are not living outside.
You're looking more peaceful now after playing this tape. You sound more consolatory. What's going on,
Mr. So? I'm okay. Let me just make my point.
Okay.
If we look back at the situation at the time, we Liberian diaspora are not living in isolation. The situation in Liberia was glaring. The situation in Liberia was exposed. The situation in Liberia, for everybody to see it, especially in the days of the social media. The government of President Weah failed Liberian people massively. So there was no reason, there was no way some of us that believe that we need to change course, that we're going to have to put on a blindfold and support President Weah because he's from the Southeast. That I was not prepared to do. And I'm still not prepared to do that. Liberia is bigger than the Southeast. Liberia is much more important than the Southeast alone. So we have to do things that will represent the interest of the Republic of Liberia. And when Ambassador Baka came in and expressed himself, his policy, what I thought
What those policies questioned enough. You were one of those who were blowing the trumpet with many other guru media in network, which disadvantaged disproportionate Liberians to really make an informed decision. Let's take a deep breath a little bit here. Do you think you were just to the rest of the Liberian people?
Mr. So, in retrospect now, I will try to be honest with you tonight. For once, this is not time for the other stuff. Yes, I agree with you.
Why you agree with?
Let me finish my point. I agree with you that perhaps we should have gone a little bit deeper than what we were hanging with at the time. For example, the issue with Omokomi and Ambassador Baka, we should have gone deeper. We did. However, when you look at the situation with President Weah and everything that he did from the time he came to office to the election, you cannot, as a true Liberian, someone who believes in fair play, you cannot support him. In as much as I would like to, there's no way you could have supported President Weah over President Baka. So yes, we should have looked back a little bit.
We're going to do a complete engagement here. It's, all of the other guys not here, and remember I'm in charge, so the style going to be a little bit different. But for me, I will give you the opportunity so that you can to get your side of the story. I do not want to be judgmental, but you seems to narrow the scope of the race in the last race between Boyka and that of George Weah. Were there other people that were in the race, perhaps, who have given chance to get their side of the story?
Yes, Mr. So I don't mean to relitigate the election, but we had Honorable Cummings, and you know my position on Honorable Cummings. I believe, and I got beat up on that, and I still believe that Honorable Cummings should have gone second, no matter what. And the question was, do we need to beg President Waka to go second? No. But that should have been stated from the day you guys signed that.
Why non-President Boyka was exempted? What was the statute of limitation? Why was he exempted?
The issue at the time, and like I said, I don't mean to relitigate the election. The election is over. We have to find a way forward how to improve the lives of the Liberian people. However,
history is all about the past, and the present, and the future, and we can dwell on the three components to get ourselves in the right place. So
I agree with you. I agree with you. This is the issue that I have at the time. President Waka served in the Liberian government for a very long time. The last 12 years before that, he served as a vice president of the Republic of Liberia. He has emerged as a leader of a political party. He put his hat in the ring. You cannot, as a political guru like yourself, to expect the person who served in the vice presidency for 12 years to again, as a political leader, to say, I'm going to go and be a vice president again.
Let's backtrack here. Mike Huckabee, who now going to be going to ambassador, and the other men here, some of them went to a presidential race. It didn't work out, and they came and they contested for governor, congressman, and all of that. So why we created a sort of
because many of us that were campaigning at the time, and I will leap over now, forget about the collaboration or the CPP, whatever it was. President Waka, if you look at the entire race, at the entire process, the spectrum of people who were in the race, Honorable Cummings, I said it before and I will say again, of all Honorable Cummings, if he were to be elected, Liberia would have moved far better than what we're moving now.
That's been very disingenuous. I'm going to give you the chance to talk, because this is what you do. You find yourself in multiple places, want to be like, I don't know. You were very condescending here with coming 1%, 2%, 0.5%.
But that's my point. I'm still making that point.
Okay, so why you think if he was
Honorable Cummings, he didn't have the number. Honorable Cummings, Liberian people do not know who Cummings was at that time. And so Cummings will not have gotten any numbers to defeat President Weah. And therefore, we thought within ourselves, the fact that President Waka has years of experience, number one. And secondly, when he presented his views of leadership of the Republic of Liberia, it was only those views that we ourselves believe in the rule of law. We believe in the freedom of the people. That the rule and the position President Waka was taking was the only position as a logical person who is also a political guru. That is the only logical position you can take, is to follow President Waka. And we did. So there is no regret on that. However, there are those who at the time were in the background. We were not, we should have, but and I said we should have, and I'll leave you as that. But at the time,
can you clarify for the sake of the audience?
There are those who are now blocking people from speaking with President Waka, who at the time was in the background. They did not show themselves as the real campaigner. And so we did not see them. All we saw was President Baka giving us his position. Those who we blame now for all of the debacle were hiding at the time. So it was difficult for you to say, okay, let's see, who are these people? All we saw was President Baka, and we believe in him, and we still believe in him. So now these people, out of a sudden, are showing themselves to be who they are, which is very, their attitude and their behavior is detrimental to the Liberian people's survival, and we don't agree with it, and we will push back on it.
Before I go to Terry, do you have a shared responsibility in that because you did not create the venue, the platform?
Yes. I agree with you. We have a shared responsibility. If anything goes wrong, yes, we have a shared responsibility. But it is what we're doing. The difference here between us and them is that we're pushing back. We are speaking up. We are talking about it. We're not being silent. We're not afraid. We don't want jobs. And because of that, we will speak the truth and be truthful, because we don't want anything from them.
Okay, let's welcome our senior analyst, Terry Collins, is here from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Terry, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. So. Good evening, Labor.
Good evening, Terry. Thank you, Terry.
Let's go into your photo, and then we're gonna have you. I don't want to be the one to kind of like control, because too much thing happening at Yang, some scan, this, that, and all of those. Something more or less look like the Ebola and other versions of the Ebola or Ebola, whatever it is happening. Perhaps we didn't ask all of the questions that needed to be asked. And I did hear the Liberals saying things are getting hard. So, well, he's still inconclusive with that. But let's hear you, Terry.
Well, I was looking at several things today.
How we got to this point?
I was looking at several things today. I think I saw the Senator Darius Dillon post today, and he was talking about how they gave the education ministry $100 million. And I think he was trying to justify the $45,000 car. So I think somebody asked him under the post. And then he made mention of giving the education ministry 100 million, So I thought to think that, was he trying to justify that because he gave 100 million to the education ministry or education system for Liberia, because he gave 100 million, so he deserved a $45,000 car? Is that what he was trying to say? That also made me to feel a little bit, because he's talking about $45,000 car, and then he said 100 million was given to the educational ministry. So in other words, we deserve to ride $45,000 car because we are giving a lot of money to other ministries in government. I thought that post was not in the right place. But however, we're hearing a lot of things. I hear you talking about labor and whether if we made a wrong decision. I think we made the right decision. And I want to disagree with Labor that Mr. Cummings would have been a bad decision for Liberia. Mr. Cummings.
No, I didn't say that. I said Mr. Cummings, of all the people in the race at the time, Mr. Cummings has the leadership ability, but Mr. Cummings was not, the Liberian people do not know who Cummings was. That's what I said. I didn't say it was a bad decision.
No, I didn't. I'm saying now that I want to believe that Mr. Cummings would have been a bad decision for Liberia.
Okay.
That's what I said. Okay. So, yeah, because the reason is for several reasons. Mr. Cummings don't know the political landscape. Most of the people he started bringing on board was completely off the radar. They didn't understand the landscape of Liberia politics and all of that. He started.
Who are some of those people you're referring to?
His VP. The first person he brought on board was his VP. What her name? Charles Bromsky's daughter.
Charlene
Bromsky. She didn't know anything. As a matter of fact, she went on public radio to even tell the world how President Baka, during the political season, where he's going to be talking against your major opponent. She was even praising him, that saying that he created opportunity for her to go to school, you know, through her mom. So, you know, she was completely clueless to the political operandis of Liberia. Then when Mr. Cummings should have been or campaigning, he was not. Then he brought people to in his camp that was also stealing from him, playing all kind of tricks. Up to today, we have not heard anything from the 70 or 75 million dollars. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So there were a lot of people. Then he was listening to Madame Sirleaf. He was trying to make decisions from Madame Sirleaf instead of using his own political decision, his own political wisdom to make decisions. Now, President Boka is the reason why President Boka is having these great lapses now, which is a good thing for me from my perspective, because it's earlier, it's being revealed, people are highlighting it, it's exposing him, it's exposing his government, him taking some major steps as compared to President Weah government. We saw how President Weah ran the country with Samuel Twe for 6 years, knowing very well that the man was doing all kind of things. President Weah could not reshuffle his government. He did not fire nobody major in the government until sanctions started descending on him. Even in the midst of sanctions, he was taking no major action. In President Boka's government,
is he taking major action, not just on a fire when someone has been fired? My assumptions, I'm a free thinker, I assume and I believe there is a reason some wrong is being done. And the only way to determine that wrong is to have he or she, the persons, to be investigated. And if wrong is done, there must be action. That we have laws on the book, depending what went wrong, the Lord will determine that course. Do you think all of those things are happening, or we just moving people and bringing them back? People stay $75,000. Those same people that stole $75,000, whether they did it or not, they are being incorporated into this society, into this government. That's some sort of double standard. Do you frown on that, Terry?
I do. There are several things President Boka, several steps he's taking or he have taken that I frown on, but there are also several steps that he have taken that I think in few more months from now we'll begin to see a president that will yield the better result. Because we must understand that President Boka came to power with the help of a lot of people. They contributed to his leadership. You talk Louis Brown. I frown on Louis Brown. But who knows? The Louis Brown, the Great Speed, they were all with Mr. Cummings. These were the people, the same people that Labour is speaking about. They were going to be in power if Mr. Cummings would have won the election. These people that behind President Boka.
Some of these people are incorporated into this. So what's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference here, Mr. So, is that President Boka, even if he's not persecuting people as we want him to do, he is taking steps into what? Causing them to resign, leaving their positions, people that major allies that supported him, like his relatives, like the Amin Modar case. And obviously, people who supported you in a race, especially in places like Liberia, there are certain decisions you will not take against them. But for the virtue of the fact that he can look at his commerce minister being his own relative to tell him, say, look, my man, you need to resign. And the man resigned, taking him completely out of the government that he supported and struggled and spent all his money for. Even if President Boka don't persecute him, which I will be disappointed, but I will not be frustrated because I have seen a drastic action that even some of us will not take against our own relatives if they were in power. Looking at the contribution Amin Modar made in President Boka's government. Equally so, there are people in President Boka's government that here, take for example, we don't really know what happened with the finance ministry. But early stages, he told the finance minister to go. We're seeing movements. We're seeing major movement taking place in President Boka's government that is surprising to some of us. And right now, we have media institutions that can highlight issues like this scam thing that's going on now. All right.
justification. I'm not going to buy into that. And this is how you guys protect your own alligator from time to time. You liberals, Jeroboamians, I mean, this
Mr.
is what
So
you
I'm not protecting anybody. I see people writing up. These are the people who writing here who never.
why are you so addicted with people expressing their views, your opinion? Liberal does the same thing. He looking to see who writes something good, who don't write. You see, now somebody now Liberal, you hack the mail system?
What kind of message?
I say you hack his system, you see how you reading that whole in
Mr. So the people say they want President we are to come back. But then they're saying we shouldn't talk about President we are because President we are not in power. But you still want him to come back.
Can you guys, you see, that's the problem. This is what I have a problem with. You have been trained and completed the academy of the liberals because he looks through the lines to see who writes what, what's in his favor, what against him, that he put that out. Okay, let's listen to that. Yesterday program was very fascinating. Let's listen to this.
Well, one of the rescue captain, okay, he went on Spoon and he told the people on Spoon, I'm not going to be able to join people if I don't have terms of reference. They have to tell me why they want me to join them, what they expect out of me, and what they want me to do. I can't just go there because I'm running a campaign. So I just join. No. There's other young man. They call him Amos Twe. He went and started being really John Malou. For 1 week, I was on his bike on this platform. I knew then that if they were not able to bring John, if they were successful in blocking John Malou from joining them, I knew that it was just a matter of time before they put him in the bubble. This is where we are. The secretary of a political party is successfully managing director in this government. The chairman of the political party is also working in this government. People have been saying it over and over. You can't do that. There is the code of conduct frown on that. Specifically make reference to they ignore these things. And they're successful in putting me in a bubble. So we will just speak now from the sideline. And hopefully, but Baba, you can't hear all the man can't hear all. And one of the things is, if you get sharp mouth like Spoon, you're on a bubble side, you can't even see. They put charcoal. That charcoal they take and blind you. So the whole place is dark. You can't see. When was the last time you saw President Bakai driving in the city of Monrovia? In the city of Monrovia, driving slowly, almost 150 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour. Boom, boom. You can't see nothing again.
Well, before the bullet can't touch me here tonight. I want the RPG to come and no phone. I don't want you to touch me. Ketra, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, Brother So, and good evening to Libra and Brother Terry. Good evening to you guys.
Yeah, Libra, it's amazing. You alluded to you were dancing, how you dance. It's a betrayal. This is not Kenninja. This is not a culture center. When you sit on this network, you should be able to create a conversation, but in your own words, you are dancing, you are doing this, and here you are now, they're putting in the bubbles, And to give you the credit, this was something that you frown on. This was something that you were very skeptical. They shouldn't put the old man in the bubble. They shouldn't put the old man in the bubble. Because they did that to Weir, still they didn't listen to you. Who put this old man in the bubble?
Thank you, Mr. So. When you have, for me, from my perspective, a government is not about friendship. Government is not about relatives. However, the politicians in general, all over the world, they have what they call political ally. When they're running campaign, there are those who will be on their side, hoping that when the campaign time is done, when they shall win the election, they will bring those people in to fill whatever spot it is to fill. However, in Liberia, it seemed to me that we're not just filling the spot, but that we bring people who would tell us they're seeking the interest, they're seeking our interest instead of seeking the Liberian people's interest. And so when they do that, the leadership itself believe that these people are seeking their interest. These people have the ability to cut you off from your usual conversation, people that will have honest conversation with you. They will cut you off. And the way they cut you off is to blame them as somebody who wants to disgrace you as a leader. To blame them as someone who do not seek your interest. Because as a human being, the way you appeal to us and appeal to our higher, whatever it is to tell us that I'm here for you. I'm seeking your interest. Who would not want people to seek their interest? In the case of the leadership of Liberia, I believe that was coming. And they all started, and you were one of those here on this platform were trying to somehow call me names when I started going after some, what's his name, Amos 12. Because when Amos 12 did that, what he did to John Monlu at that time, I knew then that if these people were successful, we were going to have a serious problem. And they've been successful. Why is it up to this time President Barker cannot demand these people to either be chairman of the Unity Party, secretary of the Unity Party, and leave the government, or stay in the government and relinquish those powers? Why is it that these things?
Let me just hold you there. So then where is the leadership? Where is the judgment? Is it in isolation? Who appointed these people? These positions are there. The laws are there. It's a conflict. I mean, they know they're going to be a compromise. So then who leadership should we question in this direction?
Mr. So when you bring this type of question, having had the opportunity to explain to you what a bubble does to a man, and yet still you want me to tell you that yes, indeed, the man should be blamed. I'm telling you, the man, from me, from my perspective, the man has been cut off from all reality. And that's in a bubble. He does not drive the street of Monrovia with less than 10 miles an hour. He goes 80 miles an hour on Tubman Boulevard. So he does not see anything.
So quickly,
and when he goes to work, who does he see every day? The same people. And they keep telling you, oh, I was down here last night. Oh, the president said, oh, Mr. President, these are the people here. Nobody there to tell the president the truth. To say this is what's happening.
Is it fair to question his leadership style?
You have the right to question that, but I'm not gonna play in with you to accept that. I will reject it. But you have the right to question it. But I will try to enlighten you that his leadership style, if you let the president lead the way he said he was going to lead, we will have no problem. But
so then what went wrong?
Okay, let me repeat myself. What went wrong? He brought people on board, I believe, and I could be wrong.
No, okay, hold on. I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to bring people. Are you saying he brought people or people brought them? It was on whose decision?
Say about a month or so before the inauguration, I got a call from a higher up in Liberia and insider. He said the president is recruiting some old folks, even going back all the way back to October days. And there are some of those people that say, no, we're too old now. But that he will bring some old folks back on. And the idea, and I think I explained it here on this platform. According to the guy, the idea was they were going to bring these old people on and help to nurture the young people at a certain position, and then they were going to excuse themselves. That has not happened. These people, and I believe it could be the state of presidential state, whatever position he had on Gressy. There's one of those people. They have now entrenched themselves, and they feel that they have arrived, and therefore there's no reason not to teach anybody. So they will do this because of connection, their friendship, and everything else. You do not put the friendship business in the government. And this is what we see. What we see. They did not deceive Gressy that fired assistant minister the other day. For what?
So,
was he the one that appointed the assistant minister? No.
Okay, so you are telling me it was the old man that brought these old people, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Not old man, the president, not old man, the president brought these old people back in. And when I mean old people, not by age either, people who have served in the previous administrations.
Keto, if you listen to this sort of indefensible actions by the liberal that he has been consistent, this is a sort of pattern in him. And he's very good at reconstructing crime scene. He's very good at that. He's very deflective of not answering questions, pivoting 360 degrees. But you saw him yesterday, and these kind of people like a little taplot because Warriors went missing and tried to put himself in a comfortable position. If you listen to this guy here, giving these sort of excuses that he's giving, what does that tell you?
Look, Mr. So once again, I'd like to say hi to everybody and to our listening audience, our viewing audience. So it gets tiring. For me, it gets really tiring, annoying, and redundant to hear people that sold a bad brother to our nation, to our people. They sold a pig in the bag to our people to continue to shield him, this president, and blame everybody else around him. Yesterday, they didn't shield George Weah. They said he was inept, even though people said the people around him, but they put it on the former president. Today, because these people went out and told the Liberian people that this man was the most experienced. This man was the most transparent. This man has a lot of integrity. He has served for almost 40 some more years in government, and he could deliver, he could rescue the people. And only to find out that the man has no clue in government, absolutely nothing in government. They are ashamed to come back and say we made a mistake, but they are shifting the blame now on the people around him, that the people put him in bubbles. They're forgetting to know that everybody see Mr. Walker on social media delivering messages confidently. Nobody forcing in his mouth. And speaking of even forcing, like he talking about putting in a bubble, when this president wrote the Senate and told the Senate concerning the yellow machine that his friend saw his vision and wanted to help to implement his vision. That's the reason why his friend was giving a couple of machines, red, yellow machines, or whatever machine to help with the role or development in the country. Only to find out it was a big scam. This president, again, is seen on national TV or international wire reading about a $25 million, according to him, secure loan. He said the loan has been secured. Only to find out there's no loan. And then they say the people around the president, this is a man that has experience.
Let me hold you there in the interest of fairness. Let me bring in Terry. Terry,
Yeah.
when you hear these things coming, first of all, is he saying the truth?
Well, he's saying what he thinks is true, but he's not saying the truth.
What you say?
Well, he believes in what he's saying, but I don't know if that is the reality, because he's talking about the yellow machine and the yellow machine, something is not a scam, but he says it's a scam. I don't know how he got his information that it's a scam, and all of that. The president already told you that the yellow machine is in process, and within time, it will reveal itself. It has not yet been proven that it's a scam, but we believe that it should have been handled the best way possible, but it was not. Likewise, this loan thing that is on the table right now, it looked like it's something that have some criminal implications, but as of yet,
why you don't want to use the word scam?
Because it is not yet been proven that it's a scam, Mrs. O. These are all allegations, and these are all talks around, and it seems like, for me, what I saw today on television.
So when when the two words scam, criminal, which one you think have that sort of half elicited that will make somebody to kind of criminal, scam?
But
you just prefer to use the one you're using, right?
Yeah, criminal is more or less a convicted, somebody who have been convicted of a crime. Scam.
So then who was convicted here? Because you say like more like criminal. So who has been convicted here? Is that a president? Because it was a president that told us that government people are going to pay this, that, and now you're telling us criminal. So are you telling us
from the local things? Because the how you call it, from the local things, the body languages, the
you want a liberal to help out? Yeah, the Reverend Holy Ghost.
Yeah, it took him. It took him. He cannot even defend what Mr. Toll when the post is on.
I'm back.
Okay, yeah, okay. The Reverend is back.
So the inconsistency with the messages translating from the foreign ministry, the information minister, and the real people that I know, the narcotic group that was today, shows that there is some level of something is not straight. Because if you can't be saying loan, then the real people who bring in the program to you telling you say it's not a loan. So I don't know what JMB is going to do, but if I were him, I would fire the foreign affairs minister instantly. I would not even say, go for suspension.
What's about the education minister? The education minister is more or less direct. We know where she came from. We know what her role is for the president to get her to be there. So if there was a first deceit, in as much, and I'm not going to examine the foreign minister. The foreign minister, Martin, they raised a lot of concern that perhaps what the day was, I think there's sort of quick fix system here. And George Weah administration went down this road here, and it appears President Bouakai did not learn a quick lesson. They want a quick result. They want a quick fix to win the minds and souls of the Liberian people to say, yes, this is what we're going to do. And one who doesn't verify and try to get a quick things done, you butt the wall. And that's exactly what has happened, because in as much she is the Minister of Education, says something. So I'm wondering here to the president, who has been within the proximity, vice president, president for all of these years, and said long, and nobody verified anything, and the president was showcased, went out there to sell that. So do you think to the president? So the president don't have other people; they just have those people to kind of make sure to check everything, because it happens to George Weah. So there should be a lesson learned.
Yeah, that's the thing here. Leadership. President Bouakai have people that he brought on board, and that is why I wanted to speak to. Right now, the reason why I don't blame the president much is because we are still coming from the political season where we have combination of people coming from different political parties who helped the rescue to become the rescue today. President Bouakai had to look for people that he did not even know that were recommended to his team to help him in the process. Now, these people in the government now, it is their responsibility to do their job. if you fail to do your job, as early as it is, President Boka is taking action, and I hope he continue. The reason why I'm not going to blame the information minister is because from what I see here, it seems like this contract came from the foreign affairs minister because she put her face on the ballot. She went all out to explain in detail. The Minister of Information, of Education, did not explain about this thing. It was between Jerry Lpr and the Foreign Affairs Minister. As I learned, the Information Minister even took the link down from on the Information Ministry website.
So Terry,
the Educational Ministry website.
So hold on. Is that how government works? Is that how a mature government, a transparent government, get few people put together and do something and just run it? Do you think that was the right thing to do?
Mr. So every government have a place where you can fail and make error. Let President Biden here when he's sending or he talking something, he start talking about different things. And what he need, or Joe, and what he need, or Donald Trump. During Donald Trump, during Donald Trump leadership, he was talking about how he will get the people what he said chlorine during the coronavirus. He will put the chlorine. People make mistake, even in the greatest country. The biggest country or the biggest economy, the people make mistake.
Let us say he wants to come in. So who made it? Who made a mistake? Yeah.
This mistake will not. I don't blame President Boka for the mistake. Let me tell you something. I'm a guy. You've been seeing me here. If something wrong, I will tell you. Say the president is involved or he's doing something that's not correct. But the people. That's why I'm saying if the president do not take action now on the foreign affairs minister or the person who brought that deal to the country, then I will blame him for it. But as it stands, the person who brought that deal that the president trusted and put his confidence in to go carry him over there to disgrace him, by tomorrow morning, your dismissal letter will be on the table.
So if, like you used the word criminal, so if investigators was come in, take something, they bring it, you didn't ask where the person took it from, you took it, you put it in your closet, and at the end of the day, investigators realized Terry Collins kept this material, which in fact is an illegal something, it's criminal in nature, in your own words. Don't you think you will also, you almost like a facilitator to that crime? You don't think you're going to be held liable?
Well, it depends on the crime and it depends on the investigation.
Okay, let me ask the liberal to come in. The liberal, I see you working your best. Am I being dishonest here, disingenuous? Am I asking a fair question or not to the Terry?
No, you're asking a good question, except you're saying to me, and that's not who you are. But when it comes to this president, that your question, your line of questioning seem to betray you in that it makes people think like you have no clear understanding of how government works. And it's not the case. You have led some of the major section organization in the United States, and you over there you hang with people like Jack Reed and people like that. So you're not naive, and you're not somebody Johnny come lately. But when it comes to the president, this president, you seem to throw all of that out of the window. But before that, let me address my younger brother here, Walter Carter, who for some reason again tonight, I thought we were successful in dragging him out of the judge. We are hole that he dug for the sedition. I thought we were successful dragging, but he back in that hole again. And let me just point something out to him very quickly. The yellow machine issue, Carter, the yellow machine, the executive marshal confirmed that the consultation regarding the 285 today from the executive marshal regarding 285 earth moving machine is now on course. In fact, the vice president is leading
you start putting your life on the line again, right?
Mr. So, please, let me speak.
My God.
So, the vice president is leading that again. The yellow machine, according to the on course, but that's besides the point. Mr. So. Government is not as simplistic as the way you're trying to make it sound like. The government of the Republic of Liberia is a huge bureaucracy. We know that. We know that. Now, when the people who were appointed by the president to carry out a function, when these people come to the president and say, in fact, Mr. President, they see yesterday turn red. And in fact, we're trying to walk over the sea and things like that. The president, before appointing these people, he believed in them. He trusts their judgment. And so when they come to the president and say, Mr. President, this is what it is, the president trusts their judgment. And he's not going to question those who are good, because this is what you need to know. By the time the situation gets to the president, he's assuming that all of the vetting process have been taken. Mr. So,
wow.
The Libra is speaking. Look, let me tell you.
Libra drinks the water. Libra drinks the water.
Let me tell you guys this. One thing about us, those who support this president, supported his campaign, we are not afraid to speak our mind.
Okay.
No, you can't cut me out. This is what you do, and I'm glad your so-called whatever he's not here tonight. That's good. Please handle us with care. I promise myself that this new bull rule we will try to abide by. If you want to,
but you're not abiding by it. The horse said, "Hold on," then you say you get cutting off. Abide by the rules.
No. I went to my old shell. I'm back now. Okay, I'm holding on. Go ahead. What do you want?
Okay. Before I go to catch up, let's go on the line. We get a caller on.
Can I finish my statement, please, sir, if you don't mind?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
You're standing so quiet tonight. That's unusual.
Well, because of the rule, we have to respect the host now. We cannot yell over the host. So I respect that. So the point here is this. By the time, on a very serious note, by the time that decision coming from whoever minister and whatever have you, by the time to get to the president will assume that these people have done their due diligence. Right. You don't expect the president, when they come in, he call security, say, y'all go check behind it. What kind of government would that be? So, yes, the buck stopped with the president, but for goodness sake, let us portion the blame to those who were responsible at the initial stage.
That's my point.
And this is what we have. And this is exactly what we have.
You know, not a single night will pass by here without you being ridiculous. And this is growing every day. And that is bad. Let me go to this caller here. Caller, good evening. Welcome, Aaron.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. So. Good evening to everybody.
So we should start, Aaron, we should be running government on assumption now. Oh, they see somebody cross the border here today, then you send army there, and they start no reconnaissance, no intelligence, and they start firing guns.
That's the thing I'm listening to. You know, listening to Libra and my brother Terry tonight, both of them sound so embarrassing right now. I mean, no disrespect, but they're sounding so embarrassing to the point where, I mean, I don't even know what to say. These two guys, these same two folks on the show were criticizing everything in the past government, and they were putting it right to the president's feet. They were talking about ineptitude, how the president didn't know how to rule, he didn't know how to govern sedition, at this, at that, blasty, all kinds of stuff. Today, Mr. Toe is sitting on the platform and saying the president is supposed to ask questions. When they take Aaron Pobler from Alo John Camp, he must just put Aaron Pobler in office. When Aaron Pobler say President jump, he must say, ha, you want me to jump. That's what you say? That's how country is supposed to be ran? Mr. Toe and Terry, who you have said in the past that Joseph Baga were going to make all these early mistakes. You came on the show all the time. You advocated that your belief in Joseph Baga came from a divine, perspective. I respect it. Everybody respected that. But they did not reveal to you that time that you were going to make all these mistakes. Look, guys, the mistakes are too much in this early stage. And it sounds so ridiculous for the people who you claim have so much experience. I don't think the inexperienced government were making this kind of mistake in the early stage. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, Mr. So.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Look, Keto, I don't know what else to say.
Mr. So,
The liberal is you listen to the liberal, you listen to Terry. We don't. As we're running a government of assumption. That's what he's telling us. So it means anybody can do anything because we simply assume ignorance of a law is no excuse.
yes.
You cannot run a government. So come on, Vice President. So you now your argument make me more and more to question his leadership, his decision making, how he arrives at his decisions, and then you give me more room to ask more questions, liberal.
Are you talking to me?
There's no other liberal on this network.
Okay. What is your question? What is your question?
Okay, now let me have Keto to respond.
No, what is your question? You don't have to have a terrorizing sedition. I mean,
That's all right. That's all right.
Honorable, Mr. Carter, let me step in a little bit. What was your question, Mr. So?
I'm wondering here, knowing Ambassador Boykai, former Minister of Agriculture, former Managing Director, Lpr-Tv, the list goes on, 2 terms Vice President, I presided over the Senate, and for you to look in the eyes of this camera this evening to tell us that this president is running a government based on assumption.
Mr. So,
questions. That's why you tell that. Why you tell
you see, this is one of the reasons why when I try to talk to you as a political guru and be genuine with you, and knowing fully well that you would twist my words, and that's why when I come here, I tell you, it's none of your business, because you don't want to have a conversation. When I made that statement, let's just take you for an example. Let's use you for an example. When you were president of the Boston District Association, you have coordinators all over the United States. They were coordinating. So when you assign those people to carry out a function, for example, the Minnesota chapter that we had, where we had our convention under your leadership, when those people when every week when they come and report to you what the convention process was, do you go back and say, no, I'm going to challenge you, let me see who did why and what have you? You trust me, Mr. So you got to let me finish. You got to let me finish. You got to let me finish. You can come and reply. That's fine. But you have to let me finish. You don't go back and say, when they tell you this is how much it's going to cost, yes, they justify by submitting a budget. Fine. In this case, I'm just saying little stuff like that. But in this case, this is the government of the Republic of Liberia. Huge bureaucracy. And the president selected a few members of the society from among us to help him, believing in them that they have the ability to carry out these functions. And one of the cardinal functions of carrying out these things is to make sure before you get the president involved in anything, that yes, indeed, you have done your due diligence, and yes, indeed, you have covered all your backside. You have crossed your T and dotted your I's. In this case, it didn't happen. The president was assuming that, in fact, these people have done their job. So I'm going to go there believing that they have done their job. Apparently they didn't. Mr. So I can't hold the president.
You know, before I go to the caller, you know who you look like here tonight with this sort of argument. You remember Alvin Fisk? You know Alvin Fisk?
Who Alvin Fisk?
Alvin Fisk that used to be on ERBC. Because
when I left Liberia, Alvin Fisk, they were still in high school.
Okay, let's go to this number here, calling in Billy from Connecticut. Good evening, is that Saturday?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mr. So and all the panelists?
Well, we're just listening to another night of Tabata here at what about this jointed argument here by the liberal. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to say hi to everybody on the show. But when something is going wrong and people try to put a defense, it is very wrong. The people work as a minister or people that is around Mr. Boycott will be making mistakes, and he himself will not catch up with that. I remember we talk about yellow machine. We talk about 500,000 United States dollars from his minister of state, and those things have just gone on the back burner. And then coming in, we talk about $25 million in loan bank. Then the loan bank arranged and secured. He himself came on the air to speak to Liberian. How disgraceful would that be? For people, every one of us, let's say into this case, there's some of us contributed to the old man being president. But when you see a lot of mistakes going on, it's something that you got to point out. He cannot allow his men then to continuously be making mistakes that will bring disgrace on the nation. You know, you cannot allow people to be using poor Liberian. You talk about 25 million people. When people here for coming abroad, say you have to pay $230. That is your application fee, and it is not refundable. But that guarantee is there for you to come in the United States, so you will educate yourself. You know how many people started struggling for money, selling their belongings to protect such an opportunity, and we get to know that it's all BS. Sorry for my language, but the pop had to catch up with this because there are a lot of mistakes happening, and people were cautious about. We thought they really have experience. What is the experience? When you allow your minister to be using you as a president to come on air to talk to people, and then at the end, everything that you see has become, no value.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, yeah, to go into look, liberal, a peg is a peg. Whether he uses lipstick or whatever thing it is. This old man, his decision making is terrible. It's no different from George Weah. Just how George Weah too came after being opposition for a hell of a long year, 22 elections, finally from president, vice president, became president, and was elected to tell strategic ministries that should be people that he should have in his column to sell his agenda and tell them to stay on. It seems to me that's exactly what this president is doing as well, because the same mistakes, deliberate, not even a mistake, deliberate one, and for you to come here, you old man, to give justification and that we shouldn't hold him accountable, it's ridiculous. It is absurd. It shouldn't be coming from you. Are you chatting with Baka?
I'm listening to you.
You're not listening because
I'm listening to you lecturing. And your lecture
yeah,
does not face me.
This is why you guys good at, because, and this is the same thing how you disadvantage Liberian from knowing the truth. You shield this old man here. You were dancing all over the place here, singing, beating drums.
Mr. So let me ask you this simple question here. What exactly were you expecting us to do? You have the president, a young man, who was playing at the very top in Europe, playing football, at one of the best in the world, if not the best. He came to Liberia, and the Liberian people entrusted their lives to him, and he flunked massively. Mr. So let me finish. He flunked massively. This man was not even able to make good life of Liberian people life. They're stealing all over the place. $25 million map out, $1 billion missing, what have you. Everything was going wrong under his leadership. And you expect me to say that yes, indeed. Okay.
Wow.
Why you run away for?
He ran away. He froze.
He will come back. Terry come in. He will come when he comes back.
It was my turn. Mr. So when you went to the caller.
Yeah, not
Terry.
Yeah, no, you are Keto. Sorry, Terry will come in.
So Mr. So I think it's unfortunate, and it's people just thinking that, and I don't want my brother Terry to think that you want you to continue. You want Mr. Total to continue?
No,
okay.
Basically what I'm saying is, Mr. So can cry for another judgment day. I have no regret. There is no way I'm going to turn around and support President Weah over President Waka. But that's the kind of thing you go around and you mango all over the place. Take peace here, and you think I'm the political guru on the platform. You know that. So I'm not going to sit here and I got nothing to apologize for. President Waka is better than President Weah, 200%. I say so.
Okay, let me get my time.
You got time on your terramas?
The host is conducting.
Go ahead. I say.
The host is conducting. Look, the great host and the CEO. I want to be, and no disrespect to the people that have voted or promoted President Bwaka. I think they were doing it in good faith because they heard like Liberian people always do. They say. They didn't do due diligence to this old man, to the process to say we actually know him, who he is. With all of the stigma that was on this old man, they painted him to be the white or the sacred cow. You know, that special person. You understand? Even though President Doe fired him, they blinded the Liberian people to that aspect of his life that he was not fired because of corruption. Amos Sawyer fired him. They pushed Amos Sawyer to say no, say it was for political reason. He did it so that the Ome can be where he is today. And we know it was because of corruption. We know because the Ome could not function as a politician. They served under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for 12 years and said he was a park race car. These people continue to promote this man. Even to the extent where in almost a year, this man has shown ineptitude at its highest. We got people like the Lpr on this show. I don't know how political guru he is. If he can see a political flunky and promote him, because President Bwaka is a political flunky as I consider him to be. Nobody, if that's how Mr. Guru, the celebrity, would say this man is leading by assumption. Today, if somebody come and say Guinea attack Liberia, and with all investigation, he will send a military like the CEO said to go and attack a Guinea. We're all doing due diligence because somebody says so, and I believe he can do that because Mama Ability came with yellow machine, and this old man was able to write a letter to the Senate, putting his character on the line.
Let me hold you there. Let's bring our two callers here, and then Terry will come into this fire. Let's go to the phone lines here because let's go to this number here, 214 number 25212. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Mr. So, this is Clarence Gray. I'm calling from Chicago, Illinois.
Illinois. How Barack Obama?
Oh, it's cool here. We are very cool here.
What happened to Democrat?
Oh, no matter thing now.
Okay, let's go ahead. Let's hear you.
You know, Mr. So, I don't think there's a time for those or others supported the rescue mission to be defending. We should be very straight up with the Liberian people because where the mistake lies is there. You can see the president general election at that era. When the Republican won an election, Donald Trump won an election, politically, your reward is not in heaven, your reward is right on earth here. He brought in key allies that stood by him. because you want for a plan, the policy is getting to be met. What is happening now with Unity Party? Because all of these things are happening, we are expect that the leadership of the Unity Party from the party level to call the president's attention to this. But how can this happen? Nearly all the leadership of the Unity Party, all of them are in the government. So how can this happen? It may still happen after one another. And when they say happen, say nobody should blame the president. We should be blamed. You know for the well that during the election, I continue to bring that point up. During the election, when Yomli Conga and Dallas Dillon were called to early us, they were called there to support Elizabeth Cummings. And we were doing a negotiation gracefully. You can remember retired suffering or Roddy. Our SKD who are having a weak bond. The foreign affairs minister did not even endorse the owner during the election the second round. So I expect for him to work up. In the time the Unity Party is getting a presidency, I expected that those people from Unity Party to work along with the women, but they shut everybody away, bushing around. And Ellie said, when Jota Baka become president, she continued to me. Why do you think that that woman she's a Renardino? Why do you think you can bring him out of the Jota Baka government to make the government to not upgrade? Okay. And we continue to be protecting here. They want the ministers. The ministers don't blame the minister. Okay. Don't blame anybody. Blame the president.
So Clarence.
You say, yeah.
So tonight you broke ties with the Liberal, right?
No, I'm not in support of Labour tonight, really. Oh. I'm not in support. Because the reason why I'm saying them is
you think you ought to support it again?
We're happy, we continue to come here to defend. This is something happening in we have.
Okay.
Day to day, it's a former president. If we want for the president to succeed, we should be able to tell him the truth. All right. Don't tell him the truth. Let's tonight the cabinet minister that appeared. Then the Minister of Information tell the men and when the mayor appear to sponsor, you are going to dismiss him. The man speaking a man is the truth. Why should we deceive our people?
So what I want to do, Clarence, I will send you Fatu number. So I'll tell Fatu to call here. I want to know too whether she agree with the Liberal or not. But thank you so much. Let me go to the other caller. We are running out of time.
Please, let me end that point here, please. You know that I don't expect that for Keta tonight. You looking at Jovia, or political or cynical, you won't compare me with Joseph Walker? Thank you, Mr. So.
They make out a post like my earphone.
Okay, let's go to my man here from North Carolina. Here. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. So, and good evening to the panelists. What I want to say, I just want to buttress what Terry said at the beginning of the show. The president is taking some decisions, Mr. So, and the reason why the president is taking decisions is because we are pushing the president to make these decisions. What I can say is we got to keep pushing harder. The Liberian presidency is an imperial presidency, and we all know that the Liberian presidency is imperial. No matter what we say or do, all of Liberian president's decisions are always being done within their cycle. And until we can agree with that, we'll be in the same pattern in the next 6 years. People, you can't tell me that Mr. Cummings would have done better if the people who are in, some of the people who are in that cycle were in Cummings' campaign. So it just tells you what we have been coming leadership. So Liberia has a serious problem. Whether we like it or not, it is what it is. The only thing I can say is we got to keep pushing our presidents to do better than what we, and say, especially what we want them to do. Because 6 years ago, President George, we have never made such a decisions as these. He never fired anybody, he never dismissed anybody, nobody was suspended. At least in 10 months, people have been fired, people resign. All we can say is let these people be investigated If they are found guilty, let them be prosecuted. That's all we can say. Let's keep pushing. We shouldn't give up on our country. Have a good night.
Mr. So, can you correct him? Can you make some correction to him?
No, right now my headset is pounding. Go ahead. Let me see where my microphone. Go ahead, Kento.
The man said, Joey, I didn't fire nobody, did dismiss suspend nobody. Joey, I did suspend people. The guy from the passport division, the water and sewer boss. A lot of people are in his administration that he fired and they went through investigation. He brought some of them back on. So we should stop this thing. We're talking about people who are doing things. And Joey, our time is over. This is the reason why you move him, because he was not the greatest president. He was not the man. He was inept. Now we got the rescuer. You'll rescue the country.
Okay, let me see 1 second. Let me change my oh my goodness. Okay. Liberal.
Yes.
All right. What a beautiful show here tonight. Let me bring in Terry. Terry being listening, being monitored. Terry, is there anything, any change, anything to your mind? Oh, maybe I said this, somebody else said this. I think you are a moderate guy here, even though the liberal and his guy back on, I don't know where is he today. Maybe he decided he told back on not to show up, which is okay because two of them they were crying all night last night. Crying like little babies. Crying. Things are getting hard. We didn't expect it. Jerry said, yeah. Why? So Terry, no, seriously, I mean, there's some sort of connection here. Yeah, we're talking about $25 million is still in question, but from all indication, I think we're going to get to the same thing with George Weah. So there's a lot of similarity with that of the Weah and Boyka, most likely. It's not in its totality, but that seems to be. How can the president quickly get out of this thing? What he needs to do?
Well, Mr. So, I don't want to agree that there is a lot of similarities between the two people. There's a far disparity. President Weah within 6 months building condominiums out of the Liberian people money. Samuel Tuer misappropriating 25 million, that which Keto would never say, as compared to what we're saying. He always bypassed the channel. He talking now about how President Weah fired people, he did that. When that happened? JMB in 9 months, JMB within 9 months, he looked at Amin Moda, his own relative, who supported him. He called him in the office. He said, "My man, go resign." Joe, I think you're
going to say he fired him.
No, give me a chance now. I'll give you a chance. You talk plenty. Tabata. You cannot compare President Weah and JMB. No day. The two of them does not have the same comparison when it comes to leadership ability. You know, it's just obvious. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know this. And what is surprising is that they want us to put our puppet under the bus. Meanwhile, they defend President Weah with all the corruption.
Oh,
that's the reason why I cannot submit to these guys to can't tell them and say, oh yeah, JMB did that. Because as long as they are on the show.
But quickly, in reality, let's turn these cameras and they light up. But in reality, he did it. But you cannot admit because of political.
No, you know me, Mr. So I admit on the show, we are people who tell JMB an error. We can show it, I tell you. But in this, like when the question you asked me to the question directly, if I were JMB, I would fire whoever brought that contract. That's the first step. And that is why and this government, I'm hopeful. The reason why I'm hopeful is because, let me tell you, if JMB were not taking some significant steps, like in recording all those ambassadors, taking some action on people, look at this guy from the immigration, all right, that came from the Liberty Party. JMB suspended him for 3 months. Look at LDEA. These are not ordinary people. Look at the finance minister. We got a different finance minister now. These are not ordinary positions. Commerce Ministry. JMB taking steps. That is the only thing that makes me hopeful. And if this is his first year, there have been a lot of mistakes. We have talked about it many times on the show. And this is one of the mistakes that he have made that if he do not recuperate it, it will haunt him. It will haunt him in 2029. He have to recuperate it, and the first step he need to take is to fire the person that did that thing, because it's a disgrace. Look at what would the international community say? What will America say? People discussing America right in front of America, looking at a new leadership that Donald Trump coming. You're talking Tabata, how that who will bring you to America, who will do the one, the other one here. American people, they're looking at you. That you the one coming get a poor job in America, and the embassy is right there, they're looking at you. So JMB, the best way to nip this thing in the bud is to fire, not even suspend, because it is your responsibility to make sure that what you bring into the president is authentic, especially if you want the president to support it and put his fingers on it and all of that. That is what it is. But I am very, very hopeful, because I am seeing that JMB is seeing his mistakes and he's not knowing it. There are some steps that JMB have taken. Is like to say he listening to the media. He listening to our people say, I don't want to agree that JMB is in the bubble. I don't want to agree. JMB is not in the bubble. JMB listings. Listings. All right. He listening to the media. He listening to the radio. And because of that, he makes some decision. He takes some steps because he listening. As compared to President we are, the mayor there in the mansion. Anything that people say, he get done. When he get ready, he make music. Christmas coming. If you were President we are, he will be making Christmas music.
I bet you.
So yeah, we agree. But y'all want him to come back. You ask Keto now, he will tell you, say he want President Weah to come back because President Weah is better president than J. He will not even be thinking about Mr. Cummings. For me, the next leadership I will not be looking at, because JMB, I'm not going to support JMB 2029. I might support what he name, Mr. Cummings. I might. I'm not sure.
Why?
If Mr. Cummings rebrand himself. Because JMB is. There are several reasons why I'm not going to say on the show now, but there are several reasons why I'm not going to support JMB for 2029. JMB promised one term.
That's interesting. Liberal,
Yes.
are you in accordance with what Terry is saying? Terry is gradually abandoning you, and that's what you need to know. Terry is gone already. Gone. OV. Where OV is there? Yeah, election for all kinds of people. Oh my goodness.
But Mr. So, GMB say he won one term. The Liberian people have given it to him. He's going to set things in place and turn the position over. But President, we are not coming back. We not want President, we are back. And the President GMB will get all will look at it. If they're not correct,
you can root it out. It's not a matter of you. Who we altered everybody close to do say, well, everything Donald Trump. You can, yes, just how we are started to screw up. That's exactly what this old man is doing, and we do not know whether it will continue until to his term. So it's not about you don't want to. I know the Liberian electors. They are very interesting character, very interesting people. Now, and I'm getting to be afraid of anything that attached to something like a freedom, redemption. Remember?
Rescue.
Now, I'm getting to be afraid of the name because I think without happy hours,
democratic change.
Yeah, come with freedom. Okay, now they come with a rescue here now. All the boat there leaking now.
Rescue, rascal mission, skin mission.
So I don't like to hear those kind of name. Lebron.
Yes. No, I think the show has been a wonderful show tonight, Mr. Soul. And I think we have a wonderful conversation as well. We'll be truthful as usual. 2029 is still a long way from now. But what I do know is that I believe President Bakai most likely will not seek second term. And the only thing now President Bakai will try to do is to lift somebody's hands. and that person, whoever hands is going to be lifted. I hope it's the vice president to carry on his agenda. But Mr. So, quite frankly, for me, yeah, the buck stopped with the president, logically, of course. But those who are charged with the responsibility to
You're
carry out,
still creating an exception. Don't what you mean by
Mr. So, the reason why I'm speaking,
voice? This was not your voice yesterday. Why you say Buster, but what?
Mr. So, I am a soccer.
Then who is in charge?
I'm a soccer player, and when you're given a duty on the field, you assign a position. You will be moving from place to place to make sure nobody gets out. But your main reason that you were put on that field is for a specific position. Now, you must be able to understand how that position you're in, how does it coordinate with other positions around you, because it's a teamwork. And Mr. So, I was on the same show. I said these people don't even respect each other, because if these people were respecting each other, there are people in this government, besides the foreign minister, there are people in this government during the war that was in Ghana, went to school in Ghana, got their education in Ghana. And this debacle migrating from Ghana, if these people were respecting each other, she would have consultation with other ministers to say this is what's coming. What do you guys think? Have a serious conversation with the Minister of Education. And that's why the Minister of Education probably pulled this stuff up, because she was under the impression without seriously having conversation. You cannot run a government like the way they're doing. And that's how it is. But we'll see. President Bakai will make decision. He's slow in decision making. I know that. But when he makes it, he's very firm with it. So I'm not here to apologize. I'm not going to disown the president or try to distance myself. I am fully behind this president, and I know he will succeed.
Yeah, but quickly here, I know you sounded much more conciliatory. So the word assumption that was deployed, you think that was a wrong choice of words?
No, Mr. So, when the president assign a tax to that person, if that person is coming back with a report to the president assume that whatever that report is coming in, that person have done their due diligence. That person have gone to investigate everything else. So and whatever that is coming to the president is the conclusion.
Yeah, okay. You can start being particular. I'm going to come to you, Mr. Collins. So you have supervised projects and people work on you. You have your own supervisor. Am I making sense here?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you assign a group of men that work directly to report to you, when you give them tasks to do, upon completion, what do you do?
Mr. So, it's a little bit different in engineering.
No, it's not different.
Okay. Yes, the thing here, and I'm just going to go straight to the foreign minister and the president, the situation. When the foreign minister invited the president, she was not inviting the president to have a conversation. She was inviting the president to speak on the deal that she believes she's going to be closing.
And
now,
if she, right?
Yes, but if
looking at the deal?
Listen. No, there are layers. If she had gone to the president from the start, so Mr. President, here's the deal that's coming to us, and I want to pass this by you. Mr. So you know how you and I operate. If I hold on. I don't care. You know when something is happening, like when I hear something that I want to participate in, I call you. I say I want to pass this. I don't care how ridiculous it is. I pass it by you. I don't come and say this is what happened, and then you in turn you should tell me if I were you. This is just a suggestion. I'm not telling you what to do, but by you giving me the second opinion, it will allow me now to make the judgment that I'm supposed to be making. This is what I'm saying. These people are lacking.
So where is the president?
The president got nothing to do with it. None of your business. Go sue us.
Mr. So,
over anyway.
Point of information. Yeah. Right. The president got several people to hold accountable for this. All right. Because the president can give a bill to anybody, even if the foreign affairs minister say, oh, this is the deal. I think the minister of state and other people can peruse the deal to evaluate it and inform the president whether it's valid or not. The president take action. So if the president go in there, he go in there because he got a team that have evaluated the process to make sure.
I don't mean to interrupt. I agree with you. But these are the same people that brought in the yellow machine debacle.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't trust any of them.
That's what I'm saying, that the president needs to take action. But Mr. So, the information I wanted to provide that came to my mind before I lost my train of thought, Keto said something about, I think they got, what he need, that the Secretary General of the Unity Party, all of that, the president have put into place people that are supposed to handle that thing. The ombudsman, I don't know if you guys have been following. The ombudsman have written these people, the chairman for Unity Party and the Secretary General and all those holding legitimate position in the party to resign, either one of the position. And it was all on social media, all of that. And yeah, the ombudsman. What?
They have not resigned.
Yeah, he have not, but he's going to, because the ombudsman is on the back. And it came as a result of the wisdom of the president to install the ombudsman so that the ombudsman can checkmate all those that fall short of the code of conduct that is in the government. So when you say, oh, the president, these people are dead, you're Jefferson Koji. You know how long you're Jefferson Koji, you know how long he been Secretary General?
Terry.
For CDC, when will he resign? Jefferson Koji will be Secretary General for the next 6 years. You will not need that position. You will not even go to convention.
Terry.
Nobody leaving a position in CDC. Yeah, Mr. So.
You are a rebel, right? Huh? You're a pastor. I say you are a pastor. So, you when you talking at the end of the day, again, you just throw everything off the radar. Come on.
Well,
yes, the president, just how we held George Weah accountable of these reckless statements coming from the Jefferson Koji, the Akara, Gray, Nathan to Mose, hair all grow. I don't know which one you want to be now, hair and grown on your hair. No, sister, no Baba Shine like bro again. How these people were making these reckless statements, and President Weah did nothing. It's literally what is happening. Whatever happened, I don't care how you dress it, what kind of costume you put on it, Joseph Boyka is responsible. He brought these people. When people work with you, when you are here, when you are supervisor, when you are manager, when you are here, anything goes wrong is under your watch. You should be held accountable. This is why he needs to verify. And I'm very skeptical of this old man here. I can remember his really tough decision making and solving problem, no matter which way it falls. We saw that in the last previous election. When did he pick Nokwe? Almost 2-3 months, because he was very indecisive. He did the same thing with the. He did. You are making a point. He did the same thing here with this peace. I call it the so-called coalition, which I knew it wasn't going to work. We talk about that here. What did he tell us? We covered that event. Upon return, Lpr, are you here with us?
I am. Upon return.
And then what did he say?
I will fix it when I get there.
And what happened? It imploded.
I will fix it when I get there.
And what happened?
Who's saying? I don't see Dr. Mata here tonight.
I said it imploded.
No, that's not true.
The independent voices, deputy assistant.
Yeah, well, independent. Mr. So, I don't want to relitigate the issue. Let's move on.
Yeah, Mr. So, the reaction. That's the problem with you, and you keep doing that. You're too old for that.
Mr. So, can I give my closing so I can just?
That CPP thing was a political. It was a political stuff. right?
Oh.
They were using Mr. Cummings. You and I know that those people did not trust Mr. Cummings because they felt that Mr. Cummings had money and he wanted to induce the process. But nothing was inside there that they were going to hold on to. But you see, President Barker does not do anything successful. The man just won an election. The man took an incumbent president. How the old men don't know how to solve problems, but these men were able to bring together all those minds in the wake of a crisis that he just came from under the CPP.
The way he won it because there were a lot of things were factoring in. I just want to be honest with you. It was the same condition. It was out of desperation. Liberian people, they found out there was no alternative, and that's how George Weah won it, because they saw George Weah as a new person. We didn't ask all of the questions, just hard, because George Weah's style of bad governance and Joseph Boyka being in the system who should know how government works, he was seen as the best suited alternative than even the ANC, the Tier 1 Gongro, and all of that. But here we are with Samuel Kofi Woolsey, who of the Catholic and Justice Peace Commission, who were in the throat of Samuel Doe with different things. But see what they are doing today. So the idea of rooting out George Weah can't come back. You can't say that, because guess what? Yeah, you can say that. Politics is a very sloppy and tough and dicey one. We all root out Donald Trump here, but Democrats, there was no strategic message. Everything was bad. Instead of focusing on something that will make people to survive, that didn't happen. So they were looking at one aspect of this guy, and so people see it like, oh, wait a minute, this guy is being targeted, and he was doing different things, and they didn't get it. They just focus on something, and that's why let's hear your final word before we go. Get up.
Yeah, so Mr. So,
bad flying so.
I know, man. I'm back to that. I'm about to. So this is the thing, right? Let's be honest on the platform, and I think everybody voted for who they want to vote for, supported who they want to support. At the end of the day, Liberia is our number one goal for our country to move forward. And when we see people making these kind of mistakes in government, we should call it for what it is. This president has no leadership ability. He is inept, and we should call it for what it is. Everything that's around this president is a disaster at this time. Disaster. And we're going to continue next year. This time we'll be talking about seeing mistake, and they will put it around the people. They will put it on the people around him. Because you know why? When they put it on him, it will reflect them. So they put it around. They didn't elect. They didn't talk for Jeremiah or Jeremiah Pierre. They didn't talk for Grispin. They didn't talk for. They talked for Boaka. So if they put the blame on Boaka, it will reflect on Mr. Toe. It will reflect on Terry. So they don't want to put the blame, and that's the hate what they use it. But we know the politics. Thank you for the show. Great show tonight. And
before we go, I think we chatted with two representatives. Of course, people want to make their own case, but from the messages, it seems like what they were saying, there was some sense in it. It seems like this thing will eventually, at the end of the day, will go in favor of Speaker Fanatic Kofa, because there was a bone in the third questions our understanding were put to the administration. The precedent of these guys is not warrant. There are laws on the books that require the removal of the speaker. So what we are hearing, the ECOWA folks are saying, which makes sense, is there is nothing like majority black, nothing like that in Constitution say majority black. Yes, it becomes majority black when you have that magic number and go on the floor, persuade other people who never agree with you, get them on your side, and the speaker can be removed. And what they are saying is dangerous, because any group can come out tomorrow and claim themselves to be majority because they have the number and ask Mr. X, Mr. Y to resign. Will you then agree? So they are looking at the long term. So they have to get it set up right now. But we're going to wait and see. All these people
Mr.
But
So,
we're
thank
hearing
you.
different things contrary to what you're saying, Mr. So.
I'm just gonna telling you what I got about that. Eventually, eventually, Kofa, based on what they are saying, if it is true and true, of course, that aside, but we have to hear from all sides.
But
It also makes sense because all they need to do is to get the numbers, and remove him. They cannot get that number. Kofa cannot get that number. So what these diplomats are saying is a bad precedent for just group to come say, okay, we are in majority, we don't want it. So what happens tomorrow when another group comes out say, we are telling you something, we get a number, we don't want you. But there's a process. They have all right. And that can be done in chambers. They need to persuade their people, and that's what they don't want to do. So everybody kind of like stand their ground, and that's just not enough to get it to put into the finish line.
Mr. So, I think this is at the very end of all of this. What you're saying is quite correct. That's what we've been predicting ever since. But at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, and Speaker Kofa retain his position, most likely he's going to have to leave. He will not be able to work effectively with those people anymore. So, Fronty, after he set the rules, after he set the stage where the Constitution survived and where the process now he has set will be setting the precedent, but eventually he will have to step down.
Yes, I agree with you on that, and this is where my honesty come into a major thing. Unlike you, everything you put a defense line. And the reason, and this is where Kofa will kind of make himself viable. He will become more viable products comes 2029. Because why? He's not giving into anything. He will then argue he's on the side of the law. But he also aware he's not going to work and he's not going to succeed on a sort of house of ground where you're going to have these sort of renegade people. Everything going to be objections, obstructions, and all of that. But he just wants to set a standard, knowing the laws, knowing better that nobody just going to tell you, say, oh, yeah, we get majority. There's nothing they call majority black. If you have the majority, you have the number, go on the floor, put it into votes, and let it be executed. And that's what happened. Terry, you want to say something before we go?
Yeah, I have a contrary view to that because for what we're hearing is that Honorable Fonati is thinking about resigning. Now, what is happening here is this. Honorable Kofa, we're hearing that he withdrew his complaint that he gave to the court. He withdrew it. That is a sign of regression because he filed a complaint with the advisory of his counselors, landed counselors, the Cerilia Cephas, and what his name, or Kabena Janet. And then he went back and withdrew. That is a sign of regression. So I think from what we're hearing is that they met the how you call the people, the delegates. They met with him, and just what you're saying is true. Apparently, they met with him and they met with the majority black and told them that, yeah, this thing does not work. It's not a law. And all of them.
So they know what happens, even though we don't know all of the details, and you would not know all because everything sometimes has got to be worked behind the scene. Because when it stays in the court, then it becomes like a pending case. So who knows whether the consensus are being reached, and what we can say for sure, they ask the executives to stay out of it because that is not a good precedent. So the question still becomes, when this is why will the president allow, even though the speaker is from the opposition bloc, opposition column, but nothing has been shown as evidence that this speaker is obstruction to the agenda of the president. So if this goes ahead and without even the president or without any other thing, it's like you undercutting your own government, because when this whole thing it comes to a head, what that happens to, it hurts the government. So he's going to take a shared responsibility because why? He did not tell his supporter, he did not tell his partisan to stand down to say, hey, this guy is not, he's not been opposing, he's not being the way. So why get into a political fight with him? But we're going to
because the reason why, because you see, Mr. So the president have some guys around him who understand the dirty politics. And apparently, they are the one advising the president to make this move.
The president also, he's also make a data game. So the president, he's not a child, he's not baby. He knows what's going on.
But politics in Africa,
is what to him.
Mr. So you have to show strength politically as a leader, or else they will overlook you. And it's dangerous for the people that you lead to think that you are weak.
Exactly. I mean, politically, Boyka will want to slow down the momentum of Fanatic Kofa. I mean, period. That's it. Because
that's what I'm saying.
He's not contesting. He will obviously want someone from his party to give somebody in. So you can't continue to have somebody who is viable, who is the potential, might be likable, might resonate with the people who say, hey, let's shake the mayor to see what I man is something to. So that
look at it.
So Mr. So
can I just say this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Look at the kind of people Fonati is working with, and you say that he don't have future ambition or future plan. Henry is on his side. Telia, these were people that fought the rescue last minute to time. All right. So, Costa is on for the Anti-Kofa side. So, if these people build up an alliance in the future, that could be a serious contender against President Boga leadership 2029. Because whether you like it or not, Costa got voice. The boy have the gift. When a man speak one time, it goes to 200,000 people. Whether he did, he died, the other. So you have to keep these people under control. Otherwise, they could topple your entire leadership just by the voice, just by 2 hours speaking. So President Boga is advised by some political giants that have been in the game for a long time.
It's quite if the young man, that has not been translated into a fruitful result. I mean, that's another version of it.
How sure are you?
Yeah, but that's what happened. Even he went.
The result you want is not. The result is to maintain power.
Good night.
You want a result that will give that people money, that will make our brain correct. That is the result you're advocating for. The result for a politician is for you to continue to be in power.
Any change in mind of all your tabata you say here tonight?
No, I stand by that. I stand by my tabata.
What is Sanko?
Good liberal.
What is Sanko? LPR, you say you stand by that. All right, guys. Have a pleasant
good night. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, folks, that's how we're going to end tonight's editions of this program. I want to thank you so much. Your comments, your tweets are very fruitful, helps the discussions. We always, this is what we want to. And we just want to be crystal clear here. No any good citizen we antagonize is on government. And we are no exception to that. But we feel we in this industry, we must create a playing level field. And that's one of the problems we in today. Because you have this big media empire institution, and one person is being is being heard, and other people are not given the opportunity. It influences the process. And in most cases, it doesn't allow people to make informed decisions. The media is not a resistant movement against for the government, not for the government, but it stands in the gap as a conduit with the government and its people with respect to exchange of information sharing so that people will be able to make informed decisions. But that has not been the case. And we need to change that trajectory, that everybody should be given the opportunity. Let us hear from them directly. I don't think we had an opportunity. people acted, emotions, sentiments, and quick decisions were made. And I'm not saying they resolved the election or anything, no. But I'm saying there were other people that participated in the process. Their side wasn't heard at all because we look at brand name, we make quick decision. Nothing was heard about those candidates, and that's why you saw some of the surprises. We saw the result. People, unknown people, how that happens. So it is the responsibility of all of us, even if you support the president. Let's hear the other side of the story, and we can have for better Liberia. I want the government to succeed, because when the government succeeds, it's good for all of us, because all of us, everyone, whether you like it, you voted for or against, we have families in Liberia, and if the country is doing well, the less burden is going to be on us. So obviously, good citizens will want their government to succeed. In the same token, we have to ask them questions. They are accountable to all, whether you voted for or not. But this tendency of folks talking heads protecting their alligators is bad. Everybody defending his or her own. We cannot have a better Liberia. Until then, have a pleasant evening. By God's willing, we'll be back here Sunday with more editions of Lpr-Tv Live with the Analysts.
Oh no!